listening to Big Picture You podcast series from VCG Studios.
Good morning, afternoon, or night, everyone. Coming to you from the coziness of the VCG Media Broadcast booth. I'm Verve Coach Gordon, and you are listening to Big Picture You, the podcast series where wellness practices and concepts meet practical application and real-life example. This is episode 3 of season 2 of the Big Picture You podcast series. Welcome, listeners from across the globe. A big thanks to everyone for your support. Please drop me a note at gordon@vervecoach.com. I'd love to hear from more of you. Let me know what you think of the show. Valuable feedback is definitely encouraged. So here we are in season 2, episode 3 of the Big Picture You podcast series, 11 Energies of the Verve, a journey of positivity and performance of best self. In this episode, I'll be following up on the Star Power theme of season 2, episode 1, wherein I introduced the origins of the universal creative energies by today introducing all 11 of the energies of the Verve and a brief description of each. This way, for those listeners who are not familiar with the 11, you can have a list and overview to reference as we move forward together. The list can also be found on my website under the 11 Energies menu item. Again, no matter what the content of an episode, we will always relate the episode to at least one of the energies. This episode also connects well with the disharmony fight or flight theme of episode 2 of season 2. A listener noticed that I did not relate the fight or flight dynamic to one of the 11 energies at the end of the episode. Thanks so much for pointing that out, and I am very happy to hear that it is a valuable piece of this podcast series. Since I am giving an overview of all 11 energies today, I will relate an energy to the fight or flight, the power of personal disharmony dynamic discussed in last episode at the end of this episode. In keeping with the 11 energies conversation, I thought this would be a great time to run through all 11 of the energies in a brief overview in this episode. Of course, I'll be expanding on and or making reference to all of these 11 energies throughout the Big Picture You podcast series. In Season 2, Episode 1, Discover Your Own True Star Power, I introduced the origins of the universal creative energies and explained the hows and whys of my belief that everyone possesses these creative energies. I have pinpointed 11 universal creative energies, or energies of the Verve as I call them, that can help guide us through a journey of personal positivity and performance of best self. These energies are really just well-defined foundational values. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about why the number 11. Why 11 energies? Numerology is certainly a very well-studied math-based science. There are many, many wonderful and credible resources available for research. There's also a lot of what may be considered popular or common knowledge available on the topic. It is from a combination of these resources and practices that I'm going to draw the numerical association to why 11 energies. In numerology, the number 11 is a master number and the most intuitive of all numbers. It is also directly related to the identification and achievement of goals. The number 11 is powerful not only because it is a double-digit number with repeating digits, but also because the repeating digits are the most primal of all numbers, the number 1. The number 11 occupies the space from which all other numbers grow. Some popular representations attached to the number 11 in numerology are, right off the top, Verve, also charisma, teaching and learning, teamwork, exploration, self-sufficiency, intuition, spirituality, and negotiation. So, some truly wonderful dynamics are represented in the number 11. That's why 11 energies of the Verve. Now, along with the numerical power of 11, I also wanted to be sure that this work is of great substance and depth, providing a rich experience and not just a quick fix methodology that doesn't really yield ongoing interpretations, applications, or results. 11 energies gives us some substantial stuff to work with in our quest for performance of best self. Please remember that the following is only a brief introduction to the 11 energies of the Verve, and please tune in regularly to hear how they are practically applied through real-life example. Now, the 11 energies of the Verve. Energy of the Verve number 1, passion. To be passionate about something requires a great deal of personal investment and commitment, as well as an appetite for risk. Energy of the Verve number 2, enthusiasm. In the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the definition of enthusiasm is framed as an eager enjoyment of a pursuit. As such, I believe we should all work eagerly in order to enthusiastically identify and pursue our positive passions. Energy of the Verve number 3, compassion. Compassion is directed toward living creatures and occupies space within the eldest region of the human brain, thus being a huge part of the evolution of our core and base instincts. Energy of the Verve number 4, openness. Openness is a vital element in being creative when defining your path to personal positivity and performance of best self. For without openness, all doors to true fulfillment will close and be doubly difficult to reopen. Energy of the Verve number 5, sincerity. A special doorway will indeed be opened, and other people will begin to read your sincerity through your positive demeanor and sincere communication. Energy of the Verve number 6, truth. We must be introspective and self-reflective and open to receiving messages from our heart of hearts. Truth. Energy of the Verve number 7, self-value. The notion of self-value hinges on self-doubt and asking, how may I overcome it? Energy of the Verve number 8, forgiveness. Forgiveness is a basic material that will help in paving a much smoother and more direct life's path. Energy of the Verve number 9, sparkle. Through the sparkle of the universe itself, our inner being is touched and seeds of joy and revelry are planted. Energy of the Verve number 10, courage. Levels of courage are most certainly directly relative to levels of challenge or adversity. And energy of the Verve number 11, love. Learn to love yourself in order to inspire love for and from others. I hope you have enjoyed this introductory reading of the 11 energies of the Verve. I very much look forward to expanding upon them throughout this podcast series, but always relative to truth and real-life example. Always offering practical, yet applicable tools and takeaways. All right then. Here's the big picture you takeaway or moral of the story for today's broadcast. Thanks for listening in. As stressed in episode 1 of this season, season 2, we all have the power of the universe around and within us. All we have to do is harness the universal creative energies and use them as tools of empowerment in supporting personal positivity and performance of best self, truly bringing about our most fulfilling big picture you, big picture me, and big picture us. And of course, all of this reinforcing our belief here at the Verve Coach Gordon organization that greater harmony in our own lives will certainly bring about greater harmony in our groups, organizations, and institutions. And providing you with materials, tools, and mediums to help you create your harmonious life's masterpiece, the 11 energies of the Verve. Again, foundational values that can be referred to at any time to help negotiate challenge, help in decision making, or gain motivation and positivity. You can see them listed on my website, www.vervecoach.com, or contact me for the pocket-sized carrying card. All right, kind of wrapping things up. I'm going to relate last episode, Fight or Flight, the Power of Personal Disharmony, to an energy of the Verve. But because of the way the energies work together, I don't think one is going to cover it, so I'm going to relate it to a few energies of the Verve. These energies I've chosen are relative to negotiating the fight or flight response, also known as acute stress response, which was the content of last episode. And most times it's thought of as in the moment, facing an imminent physical or psychological, including emotional threat. This is your inherent response mechanisms kicking in and prompting you to either confront the threat or fly from the threat. And my narrative in that episode, as with all things on the Big Picture You program, really refers to a more big picture interpretation of fight or flight. So, in negotiating the dynamics of fight or flight, energy number 6, truth. You must be able to admit certain truths both about yourself and others, positive and negative. This goes with energy of the Verve number 8, forgiveness. Again, of yourself as well as others, allowing you to really shed baggage and move forward. And don't think I bypassed energy of the Verve number 7, Absolutely. Energy of the Verve number 7, self-value. High levels of self-value must be realized and nurtured out. Respect, love, and care for yourself is the first step in realizing love, care, and respect for others. Also contributing to empathy building that was mentioned in the main takeaway from last episode. So we have at least 3 energies that can be applied to the fight or flight disharmony dynamic. And again, thanks so much to my listener for reaching out regarding the absence of the energy reference in that episode. And that really opened the door to wanting to do the introduction of the full 11 in this episode. A really great big picture scenario. So, since I'm covering color relationships to the 11 energies and how all that came about in the next episode, I won't go into colors today related to these energies. I do encourage you to check out my website. There's a lot of tasty stuff there, as well as access to my book, articles, free infographics, podcast links, newsletters, and other goodies. And of course, contact links to reach me at the highest possible speed. All content, text, and music are copyright Verve Coach Gordon unless otherwise cited.
You are listening to Big Picture You podcast series from VCG Studios.
Thanks so very much for listening to the Big Picture You program today. I always appreciate listener feedback, so please reach out to Gordon at vervecoach.com with questions or even answers for that matter. And remember, kindness is beautiful, both toward others and yourself, in creating an amazing and empowering big picture you, big picture me, and big picture us. Be well, my friends.